Hi art students. It's time for another art video, and I just want to say soon we'll be going back to school, so that's pretty exciting. I'll see all of you or most of you at school, and we can do artwork there, and that'll be a lot of fun. We'll be able to do some more kind of messy projects because we'll be in the art room and we'll be able to clean up and stuff like that. So I really look forward to that. I look forward to seeing you. If I don't see you, if you're going to stay remote at home, then I'll still make some videos. So you'll be able to just tune in every week, and the art projects might be a little different. I might do something a little different for students at home, but that's fine. So you'll just be able to tune in and check out those videos. Also, I just want to say, because we're going back to school, I want this to be the last Godzilla of the week because we're going back to school. Most of us are going back to school. And also, I'm running out of Godzillas to show you. I don't really have very many more to show. I'm kind of running out. So that's kind of coming to an end. So this will be our last Godzilla of the week, and that was fun. So, but I guess we got to move on. Got to move on. And you can just watch Godzilla versus King Kong when it comes out in the movie theater if your parents let you. It should be. I don't know if it's rated too high or whatever, but I'm sure hopefully you'll all get to see it if you want to see it. So anyways, it looks pretty good. So, but that's it. That's it for Godzilla of the week. So anyways, I'm going to show you our final Godzilla. Okay, so here it is. Here it is. So this is King Caesar. He's from Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, the original, like from 1975. So it's an old movie. And he's like I'm not 100% sure, but I think he's like, like in Chinese temples, they've got these like dragon dogs at the front of the temple and they kind of guard the temple. I think he's one of those. Like he was like a statue of one of those kind of dragon. I don't know if he's a dog or they're like a dragon dog. I don't know what exactly they are, but I think he's one of them, and he comes alive and he fights Godzilla and Mechagodzilla, and he's pretty cool. So this is King Caesar. He's got that crazy tail. He's a toy. This is a toy. He's a pretty well painted toy, so he's pretty cool. So that's King Caesar. So that's it. That's it for Godzilla of the Week. Well, let's get on to the art portion of the video. Hi, lower grade multi-age remote students. Today we're gonna continue to work on our fish, on our stuffed fish. What we're gonna do is first, well, last time we drew it, right? So we drew our patterns, we drew our fish, and today we're gonna trace our fish very carefully with a Sharpie. So I highly recommend a Sharpie because it is permanent. If you have another permanent marker and you don't have a Sharpie, you can use that. But it has to be a permanent ink marker, because what we're going to do in class is we are going to use watercolor in class. And so we will, if it's not permanent marker like a Sharpie, so I just recommend a Sharpie, the ink will bleed. So you need to have a Sharpie or a permanent ink marker. Now, because you guys are remote, if you don't come back to class, Miss Lee's going to take over. So I'm not sure if she may just send home some watercolors, or she may just have you use crayons. But she'll decide, exactly what you're going to do. But for today, we're just going to ink our fish. And I'll show you we have to get our fish on the other side. We have to trace it. So I'll show you a technique. But the first thing we want to do is we're going to trace our fish. And so it's just going to be as simple as this. You're going to very carefully trace your fish, and you're going to go slowly, right? Let's see. I'm not going to do all my fish. I'm going to do most of it. I'm just going to do the fish. I'm going to do this part of the fish because you can't even see. You can't even see my whole fish anyways. But you will trace everything very carefully. You know what I am going to do? I'm going to trace around the whole fish, but not all the patterns. right? I guess I'm not going to do that. So, but anyways, you can see that I'm tracing my fish. Here, I'll do this fin though. You're going to trace everything very carefully. Now, students, when you're using a Sharpie, this is permanent. So you want to put some newspaper behind it. You don't want to mark on your table, so you might put newspaper behind it. I'm sure a parent will help you do that, or they were thinking about that. But you don't want to get this marker on the table. It's permanent. You don't want to get it on your clothes because it will never go away. All right? So anyways, you're just going to trace everything. Boy, listen to that noise. Now for the eye, you have to fill it in black, right? So let's see, I'll show you. So I'm going to trace around it. Okay. And then he's got this part of his eye. This is the black part of his eye, the pupil, I guess. And he's got a little highlight here. So this is the part that we don't fill in. Okay. So now how are we going to fill this in? Well, just slowly and carefully, right? What I recommend is maybe you can just kind of go around the edge a little more. Right? Make this part bolder and darker. Then you can kind of fill it in. But even then you can fill it in kind of slowly. Right? So you want to fill this in black. And you want it to be solid. Like you don't want to go like this. Right? You're going to go slowly and close together so that it's solid black. Hopefully your Sharpie is newer so that this will be easier to do. I'm just going to fill it in carefully. Okay, there we go. I'm just going to do this pattern, and then I'm going to tell you some techniques for tracing it, and I'll show you up on the window. I'm going to use my window. Okay. Hopefully you didn't draw too complicated of a pattern, because you're going to have to trace all of this again. If you did do a complicated pattern, then it's just going to be more work for you. Okay. So if you want, I'm not going to trace everything, but basically you're going to trace everything. You're going to trace your whole fish. You're going to trace this fin. You're going to trace the detail inside. You're going to trace the top fin that you can't see. I'm just going to do it real quick. Right? You're going to trace the detail inside. Right? You're going to trace out all these, you're going to trace these patterns in black so that it's bold. Then what you can do is you can erase some of these lines very carefully. So if you have a nice eraser, if not, you can use any kind of eraser. But you want to erase carefully. You just want to erase these extra pencil lines, you know, very carefully. You know, hold your paper when you erase so it doesn't get, you know, crinkled. I'm not going to erase everything. I would erase all these lines. I could erase this line here too. Okay. So if you want, you can pause the video and just finish tracing everything. I'm not going to trace everything. So you can pause me. Okay, so hopefully now you've unpaused me. And your fish is finished. So my fish is not finished. But normally I would have traced all this stuff, all right? I just don't want the video to be super long of me just tracing everything, right? Now the question is, how do we get this fish on the back, right? We need to get it on the back. Well, there's a couple different ways on how to do it. One thing you can do, I don't recommend it, but you could, parent can help you. You can cut this edge, and then you can just take your other side and put it over here, and then try to draw it, but that's going to be very hard. That'll be very difficult to match. So I don't know what to tell you there. Another thing is, if for some reason you have a light table, I know you don't have a light table, but like, let me see if my light table will work. I actually have kind of a light table. Let's see if it'll work. Oh, it's not turning on. Okay, let's see if this works. Oh, you can kind of see it. Um, so here you can see I would be able to trace it, right? Now I would trace it in pencil. I would trace it in pencil first, you know, and you have to kind of hold it down and you can try to trace it. And then once you've traced it in pencil, then you trace it in marker again. Well, but you probably don't have a light table like me, so that's not going to work. So what is the best way to do this? Well, I recommend, and a parent can help you. So if you're listening, parents, here's where you can help. You're going to use a window with light. And I'm going to tell you what we're going to do, and then I'll actually kind of show you. But I have to hold the camera in one hand and try to show you. It's going to be complicated, but I'll show you. But basically, a parent, you can just hold this against a window, probably like a sliding glass door, right? Because that's a nice big window, you know, where your student can reach, right? Or you could use painter's tape, you know, blue tape, and you can just and you can just kind of tape it on the window. I mean, but students, only have your parents help you and use painter's tape. And if they don't want to do it, they may not want tape on their window. I don't blame them. But painter's tape should be safe. But if they don't want to do that, they can just hold it for you. They can just, because it's not going to take that long. Hopefully, it's not going to take that long to trace it. But they'll hold it against the window, and you'll flip it on the other side. And what's going to happen is light's going to shine through from the window, and you'll be able to see your picture, kind of like how this light box was just working. And then use your pencil and you'll trace it in pencil. Then you'll go back to your desk and you'll trace it in marker. Okay, so I'm going to set this up. Okay, so here you can see, this is hard to do because I have to hold my camera, but I have taped my picture to the window, but the ink is on the back side, but the light shining through, you can kind of see, the picture coming through. Now I'm gonna get closer to the picture, but I might not be able to see what I'm doing here. Let's see here. So what I would do is then I would just trace this with a pencil, right? So I would trace that with a pencil. All the details, I would trace them out. You could use blue tape, or you can use, a parent can just hold it for you. And then when you're done tracing your picture, you will bring it back to your desk. Let's see here. I'm just going to flip it over. You'll bring it back to your desk. I got to shut these windows. And you'll bring it back to your desk, and then you'll trace the pencil lines again. So with your marker, you'll trace it again. And then that'll be it. So that's it. That's all we're going to do. So we'll have our fish drawn on both sides and inked with this permanent marker. And please remember to use a Sharpie because it's permanent ink. If Mrs. Lee uses watercolor, then if it's not permanent marker like a Sharpie, the ink will bleed and it'll be messy. So if you have a different permanent marker, that probably will work. But I know that Sharpie works for sure because I've used it before. So that's it. But that's it for me. That's it. That's all we're going to do today. So we're coming back to school in next week. You may not because you're a remote student, but Mrs. Lee's going to take over again. So this will be my last class with you, I believe. And it was a lot of fun to be your art teacher. So I hope you had fun. It's a shame I didn't get a chance to meet you, but maybe I'll get to see you at the art show, or maybe I'll see you in a future class, right? So when you're older and in an older art class, I'll be your art teacher and I'll be able to see you. So I hope you had a lot of fun, and I'm glad I was your art teacher. I hope you have a lot of fun with Miss Lee going forward in her art class, and I hope you have a great weekend. So thanks for doing a lot of cool art with me, and I'll talk to you later. So have a good weekend. Bye-bye.